All right,
Finally doing it.
so this is one of my best friends here, Tate Miller, and he's going to be. Me and him are doing something with the Pink Lady Apple House here in 2024. We created an LLC, and we're going to have some product out. As you can see, he is wearing a Pinkadelic hat, looking sweet. We're going to try a podcast here and just see what kind of goes down. We're going to talk about kind of our story, how we met, and just see how this thing goes. So let's do it.
It's been a long time coming to finally knock this out, so
For
it's
real.
actually good to be a part of this journey that we're on from starting the company off from scratch from a long time ago. From when, how old were we? Like 14, 15, talking about coming up with some cool ideas.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just talking to Marley about it. I was telling her we were going to try a podcast and stuff, and she was like, "Well, what are you going to talk about?" And I was just thinking. She said, "How long have you known each other?" And we met. So we used to race motocross, both of us, and we actually met at a motocross track. I know I was 11, so I'm guessing you were what, 8 or 9, somewhere in
8 or 9,
there.
and yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, we all made a few friends there. I remember Colby popping the wheelie on the start gate, and that's all he talked about. I mean, did you see the wheelie I popped? Did you see the wheelie I popped? Fucking Zach Brown, you know.
oh God, yeah. Can't, I mean, then you got Isaiah Murph. Can't forget
Oh,
that one.
the
That
daddy of
one
the track.
goes way back. Yeah, absolutely. The Lexington local brought us all together.
Yeah,
Thanks to him and
it,
God, what was his dad's name? Eric.
Eric,
Good old
Eric.
Eric. Yeah, bringing
Yeah,
everyone together in that community.
yeah, yeah. Them and Sunbelt Reynolds, you know.
Yes, yes, sir. Rain, snow, cloudy. It doesn't matter. We're going to be there racing every weekend, baby.
Exactly.
Which is cool because it brought, I guess, like good friendship from our dads and all of us getting
Ex-
able to meet. And it's kind of cool, years down the road. It's just me and you really, still
Exactly.
connecting and, taking this path to see what happens and thinking outside the box and trying to break free from society and everyday life.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, like you really had to like Lexington Motocross was like if you know kind of thing. Like it was an undercover establishment because you remember like after you pull off that road, you went to a flea market first
The flea market, yeah.
before you ever got to the track, you know. But yeah, dude, you're 100% right. I mean, like I met basically all of my friends there, you know.
Yeah.
And like you said, me and you were still getting it, still talking, still chasing our dreams, so to speak, which is why we're here right now on doing this podcast. Like Tate said a little earlier, I mean we've been trying to make this podcast thing happen for a little while now, but he no longer lives here in North Carolina. So why don't you talk a little bit about like why you left North Carolina and like what you're doing
Yeah,
now, and
absolutely.
go through that a little bit.
Um, so, you know, for ones who don't know, me and Justin were both homeschooled. So, living that lifestyle, with racing, chasing a dream, and then, sometimes dreams don't work out the way you want them to work out, and that's all right. And then learning to, bounce back. And one of my favorites is always, failure is just a stepping stone. You
Yeah.
got to keep moving and grooving. So, but I left North Carolina, went to South Carolina to live for a little bit, and then made a big change, and then ended up moving out to Washington State, chasing another dream of being in the cannabis industry, which is fun. I've enjoyed it. I've been here now going on 7 years doing that dream and worked my way up and really been enjoying that. But now it's, sometimes in life you get to that point to where you hit that ceiling and you're like, man, can't really go anywhere else but where I'm at now. Like you complete that dream and then you're almost satisfied, but I feel like, and you might know this too, that inner voice on the inside saying like there's definitely more out there, even though that inner voice a couple years ago you completed that challenge or that goal
Right.
or your dreams, what you wanted to do, and you hit that, and then you make it to the checker flag, and you're like, well, shit, there's another summit I could keep going. So that's pretty much what has brought me and Justin back together and reconnecting, um, this dream of ours to for him, especially with the Pink Lady Apple House coming up with that a long time ago. And then also we'll touch bases on the Bad Kid thing that we had ideas of when we were teenagers. Just didn't know how to do it, and kind of like now, like we have a lot more wisdom and knowledge from growing up, some stuff happening in life. And now it's like, it's so crazy for us to reconnect and still have that, I'll go ahead and say it, that mastermind alliance on building a brand to where we are now. And also not really knowing how to do it either. We started back from, we got the t-shirts, got that done, got the hats, the first round of hats. Really didn't know how to make it our own, but now we've cracked that code, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And just to kind of go back to the homeschool thing. So we both race motocross, like we said, and we both got homeschooled because I think we thought and our families thought we could maybe make a career out of racing dirt bikes. And we both had a lot of injuries. Not saying we would have made it without the injuries, but
Right.
that's just like what we did kind of thing. And then me and Tate, we got into kind of the music and smoking cannabis together. And I remember being back in my bedroom at my parents' house and Tate playing Call of Duty. We used to be big quick scopers. I showed him the ropes on that. You
Yeah,
know,
you did. You did. Yes, you
yeah,
did. Pissed me the fuck off a couple times too.
yeah,
You think you
yeah,
got it like, all right, man, I got a machine gun. I got this motherfucker. And then bam, you're like, what?
yeah, exactly.
Like you little motherfucker.
I remember being at work one day and you text me and you was like, dude, I won my first free for all match with the intervention. So
And
I knew it was on.
that was like one of those time periods when you win with a sniper rifle in a free for all. You're like, I'm the big dog. Like, welcome to my park.
Exactly. And then the next game you get in, you slam your controller against the wall. But yeah, so Tate would be like playing Call of Duty there in my bedroom, and I remember getting a keyboard. And you remember that machine, that beat machine? It was called Machine. Had the
Yes,
colorful pads.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was like trying to learn how to sample, trying to make beats and stuff. He's over there gaming, and and I remember one night we decided we wanted to try and get high, smoke a little cannabis, and he called a friend, and they called a friend or something, and we got some shit. And I had smoked a little before, but like just a little with Street Bike Robbie. Um, anyways, we ended up smoking this night, and bro, I feel like it changed mine and Tate's life forever. I mean, it was me, him, our friend Q, and TJ. You
TJ,
know,
yeah.
yep. And we laughed so fucking hard, dude. We were drooling, man. It was a good time.
And I'm
So
still
that was
chasing that high.
yeah. I've let that one go. I'm like, dude, you're never gonna get there again. I mean, that was a good time.
That was a good time, yes, sir.
Yeah, but so that was kind of the path we took, and then we kind of always knew that we didn't want to settle for like regular life and live in the regular, get a regular 9 to 5, look forward to retirement one day, go to college or whatever. I know that's in reverse order,
Right.
but we were never like on that train of thought. So we were always scratching. I was trying to make music, and we ended up coming up with a brand idea that we thought was creative at the time, but it was called Bad Kid. And the logo was a B, and it was an AK-47 for the
Yeah,
K.
yeah.
Yeah. And we thought we were doing it, dude. And I remember us getting online and looking to see if there was any other brands out there or any other Bad Kid stuff. And turns out there was. So we pretty much let that dream die. So we kept on making music. I moved out, and then we started really leaning in, I would say, to the party life more than the music making life. But like we were smoking, drinking, and making music, and I was still trying to find my footing with making beats. And Tate here, he would go get in the booth here and there and drop a rap or two. And yeah, that's just kind of how we've always been, like doing whatever we want and just thinking like there's more to life and we're going to live this life and do our thing. And we are, as you heard Tate say, uh, he chased his and went out to Washington and made it happen. But it seems like now maybe he wants to try some other stuff. So we're kind of reconnecting. And the Pink Lady Apple House is now a brand,
Right.
for, and it basically it's going to stand for creativity, and to free your weird, you know what I mean? So yeah, and this is part of it. This podcast is even
Yes,
part of it.
absolutely. And just to inspire other people to kind of where we're in the same boat as everyone else trying to start a brand or to start a dream or whatever it may be. They always say the hardest part is just doing it.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's for everybody. And now to experience just doing it, and how I know we've talked on the phone before about kind of like the infinite knowledge coming back to you when you keep or you're on that path of just thinking about it, thinking about it. It kind of opens up that window for some hidden knowledge that you come across. Won't go into detail what I came across to get the hat the way it is and all that good jazz, but it's really just starting off and just doing it and going through the trials and errors of everything. And I think that's the cool thing about life. And I hope, if someone watches this video, they get inspired too about having an idea or kind of looking at the world a little bit different than the regular society, I would say, just like, hey, all right, they always say go to college, get a good, good grades, get a
Yep.
job, get married, have kids, live that style, which is nothing wrong with that. I don't get me wrong. I feel like if
Yep.
that's suited for you and you're okay doing that, that's perfectly fine. But I feel like there's definitely a percentage of people out there like me and you who see that, but we know that that's not all to life. And you can also still live out your dreams and also still take care of a family, as I got a family, little daughter, you got, a family too as well. And we're
Yep.
still after, still going after this that we're doing now. So it doesn't really matter where you come from, how you get started, just getting it started.
Yeah, well, you took two things you said there that I want to touch on is the Mastermind Alliance, which we got from Napoleon Hill,
Yeah.
and then kind of like the inner voice kind of thing. Like, so you have the inner voice kind of telling you there's more out there, or you have a dream, or this or that. But I feel like it's important to have the Mastermind Alliance or have someone that's like shares the vision because it's easy or easier to keep going and taking these steps into the unknown when you have someone that's like shares the same vision because
Right.
if you're alone with your vision, I mean we both got families like you said, but you can be alone with the vision, like you can still have a
Right.
family life and be working your job and you have a dream or a vision but no one else shares it or sees it, and it can be easy to be consumed by the negativity, I guess. But when you got someone that's got your six and like sharing the vision, then it's easier to like be like, hey, like like you've helped me do through these struggles this past year with some of my music making issues. Just like keeping my eye on the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
taking those steps in the dark. So the Mastermind Alliance like just is so crucial, and we've came a long ways. Like we established the Pink Lady as a LLC, I think at the end of 2022, and it's taken this
Hmm.
whole it's been a whole year. And like Tate said, we got some shirts made and hats, but they weren't quite what we wanted, and it wasn't all ours. Like there was like Bella Canvas, and I don't remember the hats, but I mean they're inside.
It's
But
something on the website that I found with
yeah,
it,
yeah.
just a cheap hat and yeah.
So it kind of like Tate was mentioning there, like if you put out like thoughts or ideas, or you ask the universe something, it seems like you're talking about the hats,
Hmm.
like the one you're wearing. Like the answers come to you in one way or another. You're led there. So
Yes, absolutely. Which I want to kind of take it back from what we're talking about now with that, and when me and you were younger, and we were talking about like, man, there's got to be more to life. Like I was working with my dad, you were working with your dad.
yeah,
We were young, smoking cannabis, and I think that kind of frees our mind. And also being homeschooled, we got to look at the world a little bit different. But I won't never forget when you was like, "Man, there's got to be something else more to life." And then that's how we came across Napoleon Hill. I won't never forget you showing me. You was living in that. Was it the White House when the first house
with
you moved into?
well, the first one I moved into was Larry's, and then me and Heidi left
There,
there and went to that little.
yes, that's
Yep,
where it
yep,
went down, where we used to chill in the garage at that place.
yep,
That's why we
yep,
came
yep.
across Napoleon Hill, which ties back together of knowing there's something more out there in the infinite knowledge when your mind is attracted to that and it goes to the ether and it comes back to you. It gives you that little gain of knowledge that you knew was there, but you didn't quite understand how you was going to get it. But it just happens, which I think is
Yep.
probably one of the coolest things that the law of the universe gives out.
Exactly, but you have to be like aware of it to even
Yes, yeah,
exercise it.
absolutely.
And then again, coming back to the Mastermind Alliance, like if you told just your average person that they're probably gonna be like, I
I've had so many people already kind of,
like
chuckle
scoff
at
at it.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's
Or
so
like
it. Go ahead.
even when like like when I was moving out here to Washington, kind of telling some of family members and friends about that, you kind of get those chuckles at you, which is always so crazy to me because it seems like hate is where the home is, which is so crazy to me.
Damn. Yep. Yep. But is what I think it is. At least I can relate a little bit. Is like I feel like your family has a certain idea of you. You know what I
Right,
mean?
absolutely, yes.
If your families are kind of successful, like your mom and dad and like my mom and dad, they're not like multimillionaires, but they're
Right,
they're they're doing okay. You know what I
right,
mean? I
yes.
feel like they assume that we're gonna, do the same kind of deal. And if you like veer off that path, I feel like it's just weird. Now,
No, and I think it's scary to them because they're comfortable in their comfort zone and they've lived in that comfort zone for so long. There's nothing wrong with that because they
exactly.
raised their family, they provided, they did all that for, us. So I feel like when you do have kids like me and you that were homeschooled and think outside the box, it kind of makes them a little bit uncomfortable because they're like, wait a minute, like you're supposed to stay here, like the safety net, like you already got it. Like the only thing you have to just here, like that's it. And I feel like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like
No,
the
no.
ones that, can change their own life or put the footprint in their own path, I would say just go for it and do it.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
because
if people, like make fun of the situation or laugh at the situation, like, because they don't see the vision and that's okay because it's my vision.
yeah, yeah, that's kind of the deal. And it's almost like the voice inside. Um, of course we could like you could give in, I feel, and do whatever you say your parents or whoever thinks you should do.
Right.
But like I wonder if the voice thing will ever go away. Like if we did submit and give up, like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, would that voice still be in there, or would it be
Right.
suppressed? I don't know if it would go
That's a
away,
good
and
question.
and I feel like that would be it could be miserable. Kind of like back when we had the studio when I moved into Larry's, like not realizing what we have now. And then
Right.
like say
Absolutely.
looking back 10 or 15 years from now being like, man, if you would have just like kind of kept on doing your thing, where would you be
Yes.
at now? Instead of stopping and
Right.
just living with that regret. I just don't know if that thing would ever go away, you
I
know?
don't think it will ever go away, and that's okay. But, I know we've talked about this privately with just me and you on the phone. Um, Not being ready. I think like everything in life happens for a reason. I think maybe if we would have got that success at that age where, shit, we were 18,
Yeah.
21 range,
Yeah, somewhere in
to
there.
get
Yep.
that success at that time, it could have been detrimental for me and you both. Like you never know what could have happened. But one good thing about life, you can't change the past. Only thing you can do is look for the future and now. And then having that life experience with getting older and going through some tough situations, I feel like it's
Yeah.
just now the perfect time, which we've talked about multiple times, of just being like, I feel like the time is like right now for us to continue to do what we're doing and going for it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And like here we are, and it's super cool. Like just doing this podcast today, like I was telling you earlier on the phone, like I was excited because you know, like we started the LLC, we've been kind of trying to figure out the product situation, like how we want to approach it, what we want to land on, which we have. And we've had the podcast thing like on the back burner, and it's just been
Yes.
like creeping to get to right here where we are.
Yeah.
Like we're about to fucking like do the deal, and here we are. And it's kind of surreal, because like we're setting these like small little goals, and like even though we fail, like we don't like quite get there, like eventually like we
Right.
get there, and we're here right now,
Absolutely. It's
so
like,
that's really cool.
being patient from the situation because for the ones, is going to listen for this podcast, it's like, I had a whole computer that we tried to do it, and then the computer was not, I couldn't download the app or use it. So then I had to go buy a new computer. So I quit. It's like, fuck it. I'll go get a new computer. Got it. Next Sunday rolls around.
I got the
Justin gets
flu.
sick.
Yeah.
So, I think it all comes in time. And then sometimes, the shit you can't control, you got to let it go and just know that it will happen. And I'm sure you're probably aware of this. And, like getting this done, it really, when you get older and you're going after a goal, it don't allow you to like sit back and relax because you have to get something done. Just like with the hats and talking to the people I'm talking to get that done. Like if I don't get that done, it's like an eerie feeling to know like, okay, it is on you not to get this done. Like it's
Ex-
on you. And that's why when it came to the computer, I was like, really don't got it, but I gotta go get one. And that's sometimes the risk you gotta take to make stuff happen.
and that's again like maybe this podcast should be called Mastermind Alliance because like I just keep thinking about like you know everything's a risk. Like the stuff I have here in the lab, like I've bought stuff and paid for stuff that's been questionable because like well we got real bills and shit that
Yeah,
don't stop coming, and I'm like, man, I need this or I need that, not because it's cool, but because I actually need this piece to be able to do this. And
right.
most of the time, it's almost every time it's paid off, honestly. So
Yeah, no, that's the risk that comes with it. And if you don't take those risks or take those chances when you know it's something in the inner, which I think it will lead to your destiny, you just have to go after it. And it doesn't matter if you're low on money. There's a will, there's a way, and you'll find that way. Back to what you were saying with like the Mastermind Alliance with
mm,
that connecting back to I feel like with me and you on this reconnecting and then now to where we are now with it. We still got a little ways to go,
yeah,
but I feel like, a lot of times when we do walk when you're alone, there's nothing wrong with being alone because I think you find a lot out about yourself. But to anyone who's maybe want to start something or a business or, a new hobby, like when you have someone that shares that same passion with you, and some people don't even maybe realize that mastermind connection already. I'm sure there's guys out there that are painting cars and that's their jam, but they have that mastermind alliance and they don't even kind of know that they have it. So when you do find
exactly.
someone like with our relationship, we're already aware of it, that we're in that mastermind alliance. So can't wait to see where it continues to go from here.
And it's just like the pushing each other thing, like the
Right.
podcast, like the hats, like finding the company that you wanted to use for the hats. It's like with the Mastermind Alliance, like there's give and take. Like one person may be stronger at this, and then this one thinks of something this one never thought about. I think that's how it works. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, it's that
So
cooperation thing, they talk
yeah,
about. Like, your strength could be this, your strength, we'll be honest with the people, your things, the music side of things, with what you're good at.
yep,
Me with, my history and now business and managing and operational stuff when it does come to a business of having those relationships with the manufacturers, talking to them, coming up with ideas, speaking to them is something that I'm really good at. So we kind of have you on the music side of things, killing it, me on this side of things, doing my thing with that, and it's just cooperation and working together after the same end goal to see the end goal, which there's never really an end goal. It's just on to the next project that we may be working on. But you definitely got to have someone there on your side to make it happen. I feel like if you look at all the past people who's done it, they've always had a team around them. It's never doing it on your own. Yes, it's okay to be
exactly.
alone, but you got to have some help out there with a good um, cooperation, mastermind alliance, whatever you may have. You got to have a team behind you that has shares the same thought process that you do.
Exactly, and that's why I think that's why we are where we are, and yeah, it's just super cool, like that, like you said, like I'm on the music end of things, you're on the brand end of things. There, it's just a cool vibe, and to know we already have things like in the pipeline, kind of that's, like, I mean, I don't know, man. It's a good feeling, it's a
No,
satisfying
absolutely.
feeling, and it's a motivating feeling, knowing like,
Yeah.
man, like we are just getting started. And what one thing I think is cool about me and you and our vibe is, or maybe anyone that has the Mastermind Alliance, is just like, used to, like, back, I guess, in the bad kid days or whatever, when we were just starting out. I not that I always, but I would wonder, like, if I would run out of ideas, or like you would get to like a
Right.
plateau, and it just seems like as we get older, like, and keep creeping, like, it's the opposite. I think because we are creeping, we're building more and more ideas. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
like we're just building like the foundation to keep freaking going. You know what I mean?
To
It's
keep
just,
doing it. Yeah.
yeah, and like the, I mean, well, I'll mention it, but the classic, you know what I mean? Like, I'm super excited about the classic, you
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
I can see it, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just fucking amped on that, and
And I
just
feel like that's what you need as a
yep.
human being, because I feel like that's why so many people, I guess, could be depressed or, down and out if you don't really have something to look forward to, or even learning something else besides what you're doing.
Yep, yep.
It just continues to get better and better. And I, kind of back to the classic and that idea coming up. We'll keep that on the hush and hush until,
Yeah.
that one comes out. But
Yep.
that's just like, I guess, like in that moving process of the thoughts coming in, another one will pop up and you're like, oh shit, man, let me call Justin real quick, share the idea, which is awesome. And I'm gonna go a little bit back to like you were saying, like kind of do it, like getting it done, like that dopamine release when you do set a goal or you don't know how you're going to get it, and when you do get it, it's such a amazing feeling that you kind of want to almost harness even more. And I think that's the whole thing, is when you do check that box off and you see it in the physical form of an idea to a product that's to your standard and quality, that you knew that was just an idea, it was just floating out there, and then now it comes
To fruition.
into fruition, and it's here, and I
Yeah.
think one of the coolest things that a human can experience, even though it's just on an elementary school level of experiencing it. But you got to start somewhere to make, you got to start
Yeah.
somewhere.
Well, or I mean, you could go all the way back to your vision whenever you decided you wanted to go out to Washington. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you took the online courses or did whatever you needed to do to educate yourself. Like, you had the idea,
Yes.
but you had a lot of hoops to go through to
Right.
get to where you are now. And it's kind of like me. Like I've told you, like, I've written things down, and I know you have too.
Right.
That
Absolutely.
like have like I've lived it now. You know what I mean? And the stuff's actually happened. Though a chunk of time will pass.
Right.
I guess, I mean, obviously none of it's immediate,
Right.
but it is satisfying to be like, man, like that was just an idea. And
Yes.
now I've experienced that, or I have that piece, or I've lived that. Now what can I do? But also, like you and I've talked before, like just the discipline of being able to keep the eye on the ball. So when you
Yes.
have a vision, obviously it has to be something you're passionate about, or you will not be able to keep your eye on the
Right.
ball,
Yeah.
right? So you had to be passionate, but like just being able to keep at it, and then like it slowly comes, and then before you know it, it's there.
Very inspiring. And what's also, I guess, like it's really from us reconnecting and, going on this journey with it, also realizing that like when you get it, it's also more work to be done to sustain it. That's the other wild factor that kind of comes in. You're like,
Exactly,
all
the
right,
other end
got
of the
it.
spectrum.
Yeah. And then, yes, absolutely. And then you're like, oh man, like for me, like, when I came out here to be in the cannabis industry, like yeah, it was fun and enjoyable and doing it, but now where I am now, it's like, it's a job. And I think everything you do is a job. And
Oh,
there's
oh
the
yeah,
fun parts that you enjoy, and then there's the other part that you don't enjoy. But
yeah,
that's how life is, though. You can't have like all the enjoyment parts and then fuck all the other parts, because those parts are just as important as the good parts. Kind of like with me and you on doing this now, figuring out everything of like, oh, we got taxes we got to worry about, sales taxes. Okay, how do we get that going? But when you have questions, there's always answers. The answers are out there if you just go out and seek them, and they can give you the tools to help you out. with what you need help with, which is
Yeah,
pretty cool because I feel like, for anyone, because it's just, we're just two regular guys with a dream. So I feel like if anybody is looking to do something out there's answers out there. You just have to go looking and wait, and they'll come back to you.
yeah. It seems like the universe will answer you, like no matter what. It might not be in a way you even expect, but
Right.
like through like a like you could be scrolling on Instagram or YouTube, or your wife could say something, or I mean, it's like the answer comes to you in one way or another. And yeah, but like you said, like I mean, like you get to the point, or to what you think is the peak, and then there's work to be done. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you
Mm-hmm.
got to make that, and that's where I think like it's super important to I guess be passionate, right? Because you like your job with what you're doing now, like there's negatives to it, but you're so
Right.
passionate about
Absolutely.
it, you're prepared to deal with the negatives. I don't know if you saw that Tom Hanks reel. They were like actors. I don't know what it's called, but it's like top
Around the
actors at a table.
table.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And Tom Hanks, he said, "This too shall pass." Even when shit's super good, you're like, it passes,
Yes.
and then when you
Absolutely.
feel like you're at your absolute lowest, that
This too
passes
shall
too.
pass. But I think sometimes too, that's I kind of blame society and the role that school plays, and such a huge
Exactly.
factor in that. Which I feel like, they clip the wings of imagination, and then you get, I hate to use the word program, but you get
I think that's a good
you
word.
get
Yeah.
programmed to be like, okay, what you really want to do, like, too bad, because this is what you got to do to be status quo of a good citizen, or a good worker, or this is what it takes to make it. And they put like a cap on the make. It's not like, yeah, you just make it, but you're not going to be super successful. Like, just get to this point and you're okay. And I feel like it's a lot of times, even with myself, kind of growing up, you kind of lose that. For me, like with racing, you kind of lose that. Like, that's what I was passionate about, and then it gets taken away from you, and you're like, man, what do I kind of do now? To where someone who went to school, college, got the college degree, got that job, they made it, but they still have that little voice that's like, really, what am I passionate about? And I feel like the path that we've been on, it kind of allowed us to take our time and not be rushed and not be molded into what they, or whatever the society thinks we should be at a certain point at a certain time. I feel like it allowed us to kind of breathe
Develop.
a little and develop into finding what you're passionate about. And for me, being passionate about, I think it's like one of those things from when you do complete a goal or task, is also seeing other people complete a goal or what their dream is to see. That's what I'm passionate about, which I've always enjoyed working with you from when we talked like 2 years ago about your music, what you was doing and everything. And I've told you before, just wanted to be a helping, like a partner, or, our alliance in this journey, because I know you've been working on it for so long. And then to also be a part of it, to see you fulfill your dream and also my dream with yours, I think is probably one of the coolest things I'm passionate about, is definitely helping others and to see them succeed, especially like with what I do now with some other employees that's under me, like seeing them succeed and get to a certain pay raise, or, just doing okay in life. I think that's really awesome, and just giving advice out to people who's kind of going through it, because we all go through it.
I think it's good to have that attitude and that sort of mentality, because I mean it doesn't take much to motivate someone, you know what I mean, and just letting them
Right.
know like you're excited about what they're doing.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like, that we don't you don't get taught anything like that in school, or, anything like that. They just give you one curriculum and you go through it. But, having a passion to help others, or the stuff that you've learned over the time, to give that knowledge off to someone else, to be wary of what you think and how you use your mind. Like, I think that's so crazy to me that during those years of school I did go to, like, that never got mentioned,
Hmm.
of like your thoughts.
No,
That's
no, no.
just not there. which is so wild to me. And I feel like maybe that's why sometimes the world can look so cold, is because people don't have kind of like something me and you have. Think about it. They wake up in the morning, get up, they're the rush, traffic, getting everything going, and they go to work. They come home. Yes, they might have a family, and that's awesome, but you don't have that connection of growth or vision with someone else. And then that's when those thoughts come in your mind of being like, yeah, I'm just giving up because you don't see a way out, which is, I mean, I can definitely see that for a lot of people. But
Yeah.
if you can just have that one, one friend just like for me, that you can connect with to hopefully check off those goals and chase a dream and hopefully see that vision come true, I think is much needed.
Yeah, and like you said, like it's not taught in school or anything, but I never heard anyone or any human ever mention anything about your thoughts and like watching your thoughts and watch what you think about and this and that until we got into some of the Napoleon Hill stuff, and um and then it's still being a discipline. You know what I'm saying? Like even though like we become aware of it, it's one of the hardest things. Uh, I still to this day. Like I mean, I would like kind of relate it to like imagine if I wanted to go to the gym and like work on my body or something.
Right.
Like that would be a discipline. Like, you just can't go to the gym one day and be jacked. You know what I'm saying? So like you can't fucking like work on like like your thoughts. You know what I mean? You just
Right.
can't like fix it all in one day. You know what I mean? That's like
No,
a
no.
real a
That's why
real
you have to stay
discipline.
consistent.
Yeah.
Consistency on that, and
Eh,
that's hard because that's one thing the mind doesn't do is take time off. You got thoughts
no.
constantly. The mind don't shut off,
Yeah,
you know.
that's the hardest thing is like having a vision, having a goal, and knowing that your negative thoughts can be what you won't even be aware of it, and it's like manifesting negative experiences, and then you're living in this hell that you kind
Yeah.
of or you pretty much did create. But
Yes,
but
100%.
but had it been taught back in school and it been something that had been something everyone is like kind of keen on, you know what I mean? Like everyone
Right.
kind of knows.
Very aware. Yeah.
Then it's up to them. It's like health, right? Like we all know it's bad to like smoke cigarettes. That's
Right.
kind of like a common idea, right? So sure we can still smoke, but
Yes. Mm-hmm.
right? So when it comes to the thoughts, though, I just don't know too many people that are hip to that idea or whatever. Like so I don't even really mention it because I just feel awkward bringing it up. You know what I'm saying?
It's a weird dynamic with the thoughts, and how people kind of don't really tell you much about them and how to handle them, because that's one thing, I forgot who said it, but it's like it goes to like the humans, like we don't have anything to protect us. Like you got a bear has its claws and teeth, lion, its teeth and claws to protect them, and we as humans, only thing we have is our minds to
Mine.
protect us. And
Yep.
that's definitely hard to do, is to control your mind and be aware of the thoughts that's subconscious and then subconscious. It's really difficult thing to do, but I feel like when you have goals and you have a dream, it's a little bit easier to kind of work on that because deep down that's something that's driving you, and you're more aware. I feel like you just, instead of, if you didn't have a goal, you didn't have a dream, and you just went to work every day and you came home and there's no drive, no nothing, didn't work out, nothing. Like I feel like that could just really just be seal your fate, like because you just accepted and you have no goal or no ambition or no drive, and to continue going, you have to have a dream, you have to have a goal, and it's hard to fucking do for sure.
Because kind of like some of the reels we send back and forth, like that one. Shoot, I forgot. It was a woman in the reel, but she was talking about the stress that comes along with chasing your goal. Like basically, you are
Yes.
living in stress, and that top creators or like Elon Musk or top athletes, like they have figured out how to deal with the stress because they're all like stress to the max. She didn't say all that, but that's kind of like the idea she was driving at. That like if you're gonna like go after something or you're gonna be an Elon Musk or a whoever. I don't know why he's popping into my mind, but just like someone with a lot of shit to deal with. Like
Right.
you're gonna be stressed out. And the person you're talking about, someone that just gets up and goes and does that job and then comes home, it they're stressed, right? But it's not the same kind of stress. Like
Right. Absolutely.
like the stress it would take that person to be like, all right, I also have something I would like to do. I have a dream I would like to do. So then they already have stress. So then they're going to be adding stress, right? It's just like me and you, like kind of like we talked on the phone, like you have a family, I have a family, we have jobs, bills, and we're still like carving out the time to do this. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Absolutely.
it's stressful trying to figure out how can we do this podcast? How can we find the hat, the company to be our own brand? How can we find a logo that we're like over the moon
Right.
about? Like, then we got to pay for the shit. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And then it's like you're saying, like figuring out like we're going to be, we got taxes, we're going to all kinds of new things we're going to have to deal with.
Right.
But that voice inside of us is driving us
Yes.
because the voice
Absolutely.
inside of us don't like that. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Like, I don't know if that thing would go away. I don't think mine would. So when I have super hard times out here in the lab, like I've told you about, weird social media shit, financial shit, you know what I mean? It's like I think about quitting, like just quitting it all. You
Right.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And just being like, dude, like all you do is fail. You fail and fail and fail and fail and fail. But like this is a fail, then I fail here, then I fail here, then I fail here. So I'm still like making progress.
Climbing. Yeah. Absolutely.
But I wonder, I'm like, okay, like I try to imagine what it would be like to quit, which brings me
Yes.
back to what I was saying earlier. Then like kind of like when we were back at Larry's and like when you were rapping and stuff, it never registered in my brain like what was happening. It only
Right. Yeah.
registered like 10 years later. I'm like, bro, like this dude was actually like he sounds good and he's kind of saying some shit. Yeah, I know all of it wasn't gold, but there was like real opportunity like right there in front of us.
Right.
And I didn't
Absolutely.
realize it, and I don't know if you
I
realized it,
didn't realize it. I just thought
but
we.
now going back and listening to some of the stuff, it's like, damn, bro. So that's where I'm at now. I'm like, I just can't quit because that voice, that thing that's pushing me, and I'm in it for the long haul, dude. I'm going to
No, and
freaking,
I'm right there with
you
you
know,
to be in the long haul, with it with you as well. And I think that's the cool thing about it. Like I touched base on a little bit ago of just like when you know you have something to do, it eats at you to the point of being like, I got to do it now. If not, it's going to drive me crazy. Kind of back to the computer thing, or back to paying for the hats. It's just like it's there. It's right there. You can access it. You can get it. It's right there, but you just got to do it.
yeah, yep, yep,
You
yep.
can't procrastinate, and then sometimes it's going to cost you a little bit of money. But once you just get that little box checked off and completed, that dopamine release, I mean, when the hats came and got that, I was like, man, I hit the lotto. Like this is what I feel like. This is what it would feel like. Like I'm excited. Like I'm like anxious for the future, and like it's like yours to take on, in a weird way. But yeah, I think it's super amazing to experience it. But you gotta start somewhere and check off those goals. And once you do, I feel like it's destiny, and it's going to take time, and you're going to have patience, which I feel like me and you have learned the most out of this journey is patience, because it, like you were saying, it doesn't happen overnight, but it definitely takes patience to get to where you need to be instead of just throwing in the towel. I'm sure like with you, with doing your music, look how far you've came, but you had to be patient in between those little levels of growth. Patience was key.
Exactly. And like, like taking the steps, like you can take a step today and then the next step may not come until like 6 months later or 8 months
Right.
later. And if you're not passionate, I feel like that's when it's easy to quit because you didn't see
Absolutely.
the immediate results. But when I feel like you've done what we've done, um, where you got to be a little crazy, I feel, to be able to risk.
But off topic. Um, And I'll shit with Julia because she'll laugh because we've been doing dry January, but
Yep.
I feel like I deserve myself a nice, good glass of whiskey, even though I ain't supposed to be
Oh
drinking
yeah.
for the month of January. But hey, sometimes you got to bend the rules a little bit, and I feel like
That's
that's where people, you know, kind of fuck up. You got to bend them a little bit, all right? So,
ex-
Angela, if you see this, I'm sorry, babe, but you won't know until next month.
yeah. Whenever this thing comes out. Yeah. No. I feel you.
But you got to
Well,
celebrate.
yeah. Exactly. So fucking cheers, bro. I've been sipping on some whiskey too.
I saw
But
that
come.
earlier, so you're a bad influence on me. I was like, man, I really want a glass of whiskey. I'm like, but all right, might as well go ahead and at least get one glass in, just because we done it. It's all right to
Exactly.
celebrate a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's been successful, and then to all the people out there is like, uh, don't know where to start. You just got to start somewhere because you're gonna be on the journey of watching us, just start it and see what happens at the end of the end of the road, wherever that may lead us to.
And kind of like I said earlier, you're going to be seeing a lot more of this guy here. Again, his name's Tate Miller. You can follow him on Instagram at what is your Instagram?
It's Tate Miller with the E's of three.
Easy to remember.
Easy to
But
remember. Easy to
yeah,
remember.
but we're gonna we're gonna be doing more of these. This is just the beginning. So 2024, there's gonna be some stuff going down on the Pinkadelic side of things. So stay tuned,
Yes,
stay cool,
absolutely.
stay creative. Hit the like button,
And
subscribe,
subscribe.